Call the meeting to order, May 19th. My name is Ed Nardi, Chair of the Natural Resources Commission, and I'm calling this public meeting to order at 7 p.m. In accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Order of March 12, 2020, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting virtually. To ensure public access to the deliberations of the meeting, the public may access this call through video conferencing or telephone. Following the presentation by the petitioner and questions from the commission, members of the public will have the opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment. Please identify yourself with name and address for the record. You can also raise your hand from your phone by dialing *9 and use *6 to unmute. All video screens will be turned off with the exception of the commission, Delia, and this evening, Colleen, and the current petitioner. Once the commission has acted on an application, the petitioner is free to leave the meeting. Screen sharing will not be permitted unless absolutely necessary, and all votes will be taken by roll call vote. In the event of any technical difficulties, all matters on the agenda that have not been heard will be automatically continued to the June 2nd, 2021 NRC meeting. At this time, I would ask the commissioners to introduce themselves. Judy?
Judy Zomberger.
Greg?
Greg Higgins.
Nick?
Nick Pappas.
And Sarah.
Sarah Grimwood.
Thank you, guys. All right. I guess we'll jump right to the assistant director's report.
Okay, just gonna keep it short and sweet. So it's basically just a residential gas main replacement, just notifying the commission that's gonna be happening along 11 through 33 Warner Street. The Boston Gas Company is doing that. Yep,
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay, thank you, Colleen.
Yep.
And if I could have a motion, we've got 3 continuances tonight. I think there are 2 NOIs and 1 amended.
I
make
move
a
to be,
Go ahead, Judy.
I move to be continued to the June 2nd, 2021 meeting, the following 3 applications. Shaw at 43 Old Bedford Road, DEP file 1371504. Minor at 399 Lowell Road, DEP file 1371546. And Gomes at 1597 Monument Street, DEP file 1371558.
Second.
Thanks, Greg. And the vote. Nick?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Thank you. So we'll continue now with our continuances to be heard this evening. I think first up is Town of Concord, 90Y Plainfield Road, DEP file number 137-1559. And before we jump in, Colleen, did we get any updated plans? I don't think the commission has seen any.
We don't have any updated plans, but I'm happy to show the old ones. And I think we have a couple people here that are going to be presenting that, or just letting us know some updates. So
Okay. Kate, would that be you this evening?
Is Brandon Kunkel from Weston and Sampson. Kate Hodges is on the phone.
I am here. I'm sorry. Ryan
no problem.
Orr is trying to get in. He's having a little bit of technical difficulties.
So I can provide an update. So I've been working with Delia quite a bit. She's been great. We did provide responses to NRC comments, DEP comments, and Town of Engineering comments. We did also provide some plans. However, I think Delia might have held them back only because she and I are working together. I need to provide some additional clarification on the waiver request in particular. But we have addressed all the comments with engineering. We've met with engineering. We've switched out drain manholes throughout the property to deep sump hooded catch basins for yet another level of TSS removal beyond what we were collecting within the infiltration chambers. And we're also adding some additional P-stone diaphragms at the upper parking lot to also increase some additional TSS removal from the upper parking lot. So
can I cut in for a second, Brandon? Do you want me to display the old plans, or If you-
I don't know if that's necessary this meeting, I really just wanted to provide an update, knowing that we were gonna have to continue to the June 2nd meeting due to
Okay.
really the waiver request. I'm happy to entertain any questions that the commission may have above and beyond what we've received from the NRC or Town of Engineering. And then we did, as I noted, we did respond to DEP comments. Delia has seen all the responses and then provided some additional comments, particularly related to the waiver requests and the format of it in particular. So we'll be back here on June 2nd to specifically provide an update and clarify the waiver request. You guys will definitely have had time to review it by then for sure. But I think we hope to ultimately be able to close the hearing next June 2nd is our goal.
Yeah, in speaking with Delia early, Brandon, that seems very consistent with the discussion. Seems like you guys had basically responded to just about everything, but there's some cleanup to do and some of the plantings and by sections, if you will, and so on. So are you comfortable getting that in by, I guess there's some leeway here, but by end of the week or early next week? So
Yeah, our goal, yeah. So I'm
The
out.
town team is going to be meeting with Weston and Sampson virtually early next week. And so
Okay.
I think we want to try to button some things up on our end too.
Sure.
Because we also have some budgetary questions that, may impact phasing.
Sure.
We just having done the Giroux, things are coming in. The park work came in under, which is great, but the building part came in way over and we ended up having to rebid it. So the estimate was quite a ways off because people are, obviously there's a shortage of supplies, et cetera. So we just want to make sure that what we're saying that we can accomplish, we can actually accomplish.
Absolutely. I appreciate that caution. It's a little crazy out there in the construction world. So, okay. Well, I obviously I appreciate that. Delia was, again, consistent in our discussion about just about every box was checked other than, cleaning up the plan. So I guess if you get those in by early to mid next week, you should be in good shape. Judy?
That's our goal.
I'm sorry, go ahead, finish, Brent. I just had a question for Ed.
Yes.
It looks like that the commission should agree on that the stormwater recharge system would be considered the remediation, the mitigation for the project.
Yeah.
Since that is different from before, just to help, I would think the applicant complete their plans.
Yeah.
Delia and I have spoken about that, and so we'll be formally referencing that within the waiver request as part of working within the 25-foot zone.
Okay. Yeah, I would think that seems like a fairly good trade-off, Judy, from.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought we, as a commission, should verify that this evening.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
a good
good
point, Judy. It's a good point.
Yeah. Greg, Nick, Sarah, any issues with that?
No.
Okay. Okay, very good. All right.
We'll see you on June 2nd.
We'll see you on June 2nd. Appreciate
Well,
you
do you
showing
want to
up and
do any
updating us.
public comments on that project?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Any public comments in regard to the brief commentary or update this evening? Okay. Well, we will.
May I point out, Ed, that Colleen's not going to let things slip by,
And I appreciate that.
This is the iron fist.
Well,
Thank you, Colleen.
I see a hand up, Ed.
Is that Maria? Do you have a comment?
You're muted.
Maria
Okay.
Piasecki?
There she goes.
Yes, Maria Piasecki,
Ah,
And
thank you.
and I unmuted myself.
Okay, great. If you could just give us your address as well for the record?
Yes, I am at 28 Shore Drive.
Thank you.
I'm next to the pond, so I'm
Ah,
adjacent person to the beach. And the question is, it's a basic question. My understanding is that the purpose of the meeting is definitely technical. absolutely technical, engineering issues, planting issues, everything related to stormwater. And also, I received an email about what would be covered, and also in this process is also covering the entire design, and which is not technical. It's over about design concept, about decisions made in the design, materials, other things. There's a cost estimate going on too. And my question is, when does the second part happen? Is that in the June 2nd meeting? It seems kind of late, but if there's a question about, inconsistencies in the current design that is not being built now, but is part of the total design that's being approved on, because my understanding is that you only want to go through permit once. So you want to show the entire design. And so this design needs to be, in a way, complete. It was explained in the meeting that we had with the White Pond, not with you, but with the interim meeting, that this, and Weston and Sampson explained that this design represents, I'm saying 90%, but let's say those access areas may be drawn 20 by 10, and it may come out 19 by 9. That's how close this design is. So with that in mind, my question comes down to inconsistencies with the design. And does that happen to June 2nd, or are those being addressed now by Weston and Sampson, and that they will issue those revised drawings for us to look at before the June 2nd meeting? Because I noticed that they've got trees that are being filled in 2 feet. Does that mean they're really going to fill them in 2 feet? Or maybe there's not going to be a retaining wall, but maybe there really is going to be a retaining wall. Basic stuff, just the overall design.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
talking a lot, but I'll let you talk now.
Yeah, no, thank you for the comment. It's a good comment. And I think as Kate explained, I think they've got a coordination meeting early next week with Weston and Sampson, not only to look at, I think, tie out all their plans and details, but also, kind of double checking on the construction, so that, as I think, as she said, and Kate, not to put words in your mouth, but, double checking pricing so that what is presented is what can get built ultimately.
Right. I
and
mean,
Kate, if you want to add to
I
that.
remember the comments that were made at the last meeting, specifically by you. And I know that there were some technical questions that you had, which were very good and good to bring up. And those are the kind of things that we're buttoning up. But some of the things that the group, not just you, but others in the group, took exception or umbrage with, or even just wanted to explore further, were, some of the things that we had in the design that were important to other stakeholders and to other groups. And so, I'll explain and just say what I said before, which is that, not everything that's seen in the plan can be accomplished. And as a matter of fact, just as Ed had just said, it's likely that perhaps we're not going to be able to accomplish all of what we thought we would, at least in the immediate post-COVID time. But I also want to make sure that we are being respectful of everybody's wishes and for this particular property. And so, the pull-off areas, I know that there was some worry about that they were very large, but of course, when we go to talk to another group, the disability committee, they were concerned that they were too small. So I think we need to we're trying to create a space that is, accepted and appreciated by everyone. And we want it to be markedly better than what it is now. And so, the idea of permitting everything that we could possibly do, doesn't lead to a duplication of efforts. And I guess candidly, Weston and Sampson doesn't work for free, of course. So if we only permitted a small part and then we had to come back, we would have to pay them to do the work over again. And I don't know as if that would be in the best interest, at least fiscally, for the town. So we're trying to be responsible and responsive.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. I agree that my interpretation of a permit set is, once you approve permit set, you have approved the design. And often a engineer, architect, whatever, landscape architect, if you make a change after permit set, they want additional fee. So it makes sense that, that's, I guess my concern is that that would be good if, like we really tie up exactly what is the design. I know the
So I
pavilion,
do want to say, and I'm sorry, I want to make sure that I'm clear that the things that we're proposing, or the things that maybe that have generated kind of some discussion recently about, how many park benches, or is there a, small pull-off area that has, some kind of play element or something. These are all things that we don't have the funding for. And despite the fact that they might be approved at the planning phase, even here, and there, you see them on the plans, there's going to have to be a very public process in order to receive funding to be able to do those things.
Right.
So just because they're in the plan, they're not shovel ready. It would likely come either to the town's capital plan. And so it would go through the budget process, of which there's plenty of hearings and it's voted on at town meeting, or it would go through the CPC process, which is very similar with the hearings. And so it isn't just that you see a bench or a play area that is depicted there, and that, 2 years from now, it'll just appear. I want to just be clear that this is a very community-oriented process that, if the community, when and if we decide to go for funding for those things, overwhelmingly says, geez, we don't need that, we won't pursue the funding, because there's plenty of things that we would, use the funding for.
Judy?
okay,
Yeah, I guess I would remind or suggest that what this commission focuses on is within 100 feet of the pond, and elements of the design that are outside the 100-foot buffer zone are not the purview of this commission. Anything that we approve will be final design, but that's only within the 100-foot area. So it might be the best use of our time to focus on the 100-foot from the pond area.
okay,
Thank you, Judy.
thank you.
Any other public comment?
I'm
Okay,
sorry, I just wanted to say
Yes,
one
Kate.
more thing, just so that the commission can hear what I had said to the White Pond folks when we were meeting with the advisory commission. There was some concern that perhaps whatever's improved within the 100-foot zone would be very different from what is done outside of the 100-foot. And our goal is to have a very uniform design. So despite the fact that we might use a certain material within the 100, the 50, even the 25, we would carry that through in the design, not only for aesthetics, but just because we think that it's the responsible thing to do. And so I just want to make sure that the commission is hearing that our desire is to, hear and understand, and we understand that the NRC scope is within the 100-foot, but we would carry that through to the entirety of the property.
thanks, Kate. Appreciate the clarification on that. Okay, so I guess we will plan on seeing you back on June 2nd with plans in hand. We'll get those beforehand and probably have a more robust conversation.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks for everybody's time.
Thank you, guys. All right. Notice of intent, Land Stewardship, Inc., 299 Estabrook Road, DEP file number 137-1556. And who will be discussing that with the commission this evening?
Hi, everybody. It's Chris Politan with Land Stewardship, Inc., and I'm also joined by Jess Applin. We're sit-ins for Joan Deely, who's met with you before. Jess and I both understand certain elements of the project, and we'll try to address any questions that come up for invasive plant management and revegetation.
Thanks, Chris.
I can just bring up the revised planting plan for you guys.
That'd be great.
Yep. Hold on. Sorry, it's been a while since I did this. So you see that?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, perfect.
Yep. So Chris, do you want to walk through just the updated plans and kind of the checklist here that, you've provided in the interim?
Sure. I'll address the planting plan, and then Jess can address any of the issues to do with calculating square footage, acreage, of buffers. I think there was a question about that. In any case, I visited the site just last week or a little before then to really look through the area, and I was joined by Bud Steckler with Native Plant Trust, who's a very proficient botanist. And he and I walked through the areas and looked for something that would be meaningful, essentially, after invasive species have been removed from the area. And so consequently, this is the plan that Bud and I came up with. And it basically outlines 5 different zones that are within the 100-foot or 200 feet of perennial stream. In any case, I think it's a meaningful plan. It addresses reference ecosystem. So in other words, everything that's proposed on this plan actually occurs on the site. Nothing is left to the imagination. And I think that was what was relevant about going out there and coming up with the plan, that it would be quite meaningful for the site as a result. So the plan calls for roughly 196, almost 200 new plantings. And it's where, to my eye, it's meaningful. In other words, in some areas, you might have a very small percentage of glossy buckthorn that you're going to manage, but you have an intact ecosystem. So you have a beautiful area of skunk cabbage and tussock sedge, for example. So I didn't interpret that there was anything meaningful that we could do in there to restore that system. Whereas in some other areas that have been under management previously, there's some bare space that could be nicely addressed with shrubs or plugs or replacing like multiflora rose with swamp rose, for example. So I think that's a pretty good summary of the plan that we came up with.
Okay, thank you, Chris. And I think your associate was going to speak to just kind of updating the commission in terms of providing, everything's been provided, I think, from the last hearing we had.
You don't necessarily need the how you get to the numbers. I think it was just we needed the numbers for the form itself, so you don't have to go through the whole process.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Don't go through the whole process. All right. Is there any comments from the commission on this? Okay. Any comments from the public? Okay, hearing none, I do believe that there is a order of conditions prepared for the project.
Yep, there is. Yeah, we did include something about making it a 5-year permit.
5-year permit, and I guess the planting plans will be further delineated as the mitigation goes forward, and staff will approve the planting plans appropriately. Given the consultants on board and their pedigree, I think everybody feels pretty comfortable that we're in good hands.
Mhm.
Judy, you're on. You're muted.
I move to issue an order of conditions for DEP file 1371556, which is 299 Estabrook Road, with findings A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, standard conditions 1 through 20, and special conditions 21 through 48.
Second.
Thanks, Greg. And we'll take the vote. Sarah?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well.
Nice
Thank you,
project.
Chris and team.
Thank you very much.
Okay, best of luck out.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving to our next hearing, 309 Strawberry Hill Road, notice of intent, DEP file number 137-15 6163.
Good evening. Tom Hughes with Hughes Environmental Consulting.
Good
Um,
evening.
Here on behalf of Dennis Fiore. And at our last hearing, we just had a few minor issues, which we have all updated on the plan. We have labeled the exact trees to be removed, including one that was 3-inch DBH, but it was extremely tall. And then we worked with commission staff on coming up with an appropriate number of plantings, given that some of these were previously approved to be removed. And in the area shaded green, what we've done is we show 6 rhododendrons, rhododendron maxima going in there. And we that is mitigating for 2 trees that we know are coming out and that leaning tree that we're going to try to save and prune back. So we're just mitigating in advance for that. We also noted the new location of the propane tank, which was omitted from the last version of the plan. And then this plan has the stamp on it. So I think we've addressed all the issues. If the commission has any questions or comments, happy to hear them. But otherwise, if not, would be pleased if you guys would consider closing and issuing tonight.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, as I recall, it was some minor details to kind of clean up. It seems like those have all been addressed. Any comments from the commission on this? Seems pretty straight away. Okay. Any comments from the public? Okay, hearing none. I think, Tom, you're going to get your wish. I think we've got an order of conditions prepared.
Excellent. Thank you.
Last time, Judy?
Sure, I'll do it one more time.
There you go.
All right.
I move to issue an order of conditions for DEP file 1371563 for 309 Strawberry Hill Road with finding A, standard conditions 1 through 20 and special conditions 21 through 50.
Second.
Thank you, Greg. And the vote. Sarah?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too, Tom. All right, I guess next on the agenda, that'll close, that's the end of the hearings. We have a certificate of compliance. Colleen, you want to just talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we had some back and forth with the applicant about just getting additional plantings in there. And they pretty much covered everything. They had to take some mulch out because of one of the conditions from when the permit was issued, but everything looks good, and we'd recommend issuing a full COC.
Okay. Do we have a motion for that?
Make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 129 Everett Street, DEP file number 1371326.
Second.
Thank you, Judy. And the vote? Judy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. All right. And then I think that's the last of the COCs. We're down to other business. First up is Battle Road Connector Trail. I believe last meeting we were trying to work through perhaps a letter of support. But given our regulatory responsibility of a project that will come before us if it moves forward, there's obviously the inherent conflict of interest that we'll be providing both a permit for that project. So it doesn't make sense to issue any type of letter of support at this juncture until we see the plan. So I think we're just going to abstain from that at this juncture. Any thoughts from the commission on that? Are we all good with that? Okay. And then we have, I believe, 4 articles under Article 34. And I think they're delineated here. There are 4. I'll just lay them out. Chamberlain Bridge Survey and Permitting, Emerson Conservation Restriction, number 3, Warner's Pond Dredging, and number 4, the Old Rifle Range Survey, Design, and Permitting. Any of the commissioners have any perspective on those in terms of if they want to address them? I think we've talked about them before, but I just wanted to lay it out for the commission and or the public to have any comments on those.
We've been working on these for a long time, so.
Yeah.
We should
Yeah.
we should
And
be thrilled.
they were fully supported by the CPC. It was well-written projects and thoughtfully, presented. So it was universally accepted and through the process on the CPC.
Great. Okay. Any public comment on those? All right. Well, hopefully that'll meet a good end at the town meeting. And let's see.
Do we need a vote on this?
Yeah, I'd like to have a motion to approve Article.
I make a motion to approve, to recommend approval of Article 34 at this upcoming town meeting.
Second.
Thank you, Sarah. And the vote, Judy,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and I am an aye as well. Thank you, guys. We're down to administrative approvals. Colleen?
Yeah. Just 'cause it's-
Actually, Ed, you missed the Article
How about the
40.
agricultural,
Yeah.
Oh,
the
thank you. Thank you.
Good catch.
Yeah, interesting. It's not on the on the,
It's on page 4 of the thumbnail.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
on the agenda
Yeah,
though.
it's there.
So,
Oh,
Well, the agenda says town meeting warrant articles discussion. It doesn't specify which ones.
Yeah, it doesn't specify.
Okay.
That's
It's
okay then.
Article 34 and 40.
Yeah, fair enough. So Article 40 is the neonicotinoid prohibition from new leases, et cetera. As I understand it, the Agricultural Committee has already stated their position. And I know we heard about this, a few months back from one of the, I think it was Steve Verrill, who gave us a brief discussion about that and some of the challenges the farmers face, et cetera. So I think it's probably pretty clear from the Agricultural Committee's position. I don't necessarily see why the NRC takes a stance on this. Any thoughts any differently to that? No?
no, I'm fine with no position.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that at that point, I don't think we have to have a vote on that necessarily. I think it's just for the record. we'll
Yeah.
abstain from taking a position.
Yeah, there's no approval, so
Okay,
to recommend anything, so.
okay. Thanks for catching that.
Mhm.
All right, now to you, Colleen, for the administrative approvals.
Okay, wait, hold on, let me just read this again. Staff does not recommend it. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna bring up some of the pictures because they're kind of interesting. So the Sunnyside Lane is pretty straightforward. It's just a concrete pad that's going to be taken out, as well as underneath some stairs. I'll just share this real quick. Let's see.
Sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this one's it's not as exciting as the next one, but yeah. So yeah, so they're just looking to take out these small areas in yellow. And then we're kind of in that's just pretty much it.
Okay,
Yep. They're outside of the 50 and the 25. It's just in the 100.
Mhm.
everybody good with that?
Totally.
Okay,
All right. And then, sorry, I don't know why I think this one's so great, but it's just funny. Photo. And then there's this one, which is the Middlesex School, 1400 Lowell Road. It's just a tree removal. This tree that's basically leaning over the parking lot area, they want to take out, and
can't blame them.
it looks pretty dangerous to me. So
My question is why would someone choose to park their car by there?
Yeah,
It's a sign of what our educators are all about, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I can't see any issue with that. Everybody all good
No,
with
I think that's, yep,
Makes sense.
Yeah,
totally.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know, actually, if you just want to specify, I don't think I said 19 Sunnyside Lane for the concrete pad removal, but you know.
It's in writing. It's good. Thank you, Colleen.
Yep. No problem.
All right, well, I think that wraps it up. And again, to circle back to Judy. Judy, thank you for, I think it's 6 years of service.
yes, it is. Yeah, 6 years.
Oh,
Thank you.
Judy, I didn't know. I was looking forward to meeting you in a month's
Yeah,
time.
unfortunately, yeah, we never get to meet in person. But
Yeah.
it's been a real pleasure, and I love being on the commission and especially learning from everybody. Both current commissioners and also the previous commissioners. It's been a great experience.
Yeah, I've certainly learned a lot from you too, Judy. So thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very
You've
much.
been a wonderful, wonderful member in supportive of the commission and you always bring good thoughts at every meeting. It was very much a pleasure. And I wish you well in your move. I'm sad to see you go so far, but you're only halfway across the country.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, 4 miles from my daughter, so.
Oh, great.
Much better,
Oh,
much
that's
better,
great.
much
All right.
better.
Well,
And my
travel.
name is
Family first,
grandson,
family
so
first.
thank
Okay.
you so much.
Super. You get the honors now.
Oh, I moved to adjourn the meeting at 7:39. Good job, Ed.
Hey, keep it moving.
But
I second that.
And a quick vote on that. Greg,
I,
Nick,
Aye.
Sarah,
Hi.
and Judy.
Aye.
Okay, I am an I as well. Thank you, guys. Best of luck, Judy.
All the
Bye,
best,
everyone.
Judy.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Take
good
care.
enough. Thank you.
Bye-bye.